Hey guys, welcome back. As you can see, I've started doing some temporary wiring here on the bike. Now that it's in and I've got the muffler all buttoned up, I see no reason why I can't try and give it a kick and see if it'll come to life a little bit for me. I've done a valve adjustment, I've checked timing, I've redid the points, put a new condenser on there. I just rechecked spark. I have it the same as I had it on the bench, exactly the same. The wiring is not installed. I wanted to sort of temporarily run it just to see when I do install it, I'm going to hide it under the tank as opposed to in the headlight, so the headlight will look really clean at the front. But I figured while I'm here and I know I can get spark, why not? I don't know if I have enough fuel line to actually get anything going in the carbs. I'd love to hear it run for a minute or two. So at the very least, I'm going to set up and see if I just can't get it to kick over a couple times with some quick start. My battery is wired in. I've got my contacts closed for what would be my key on. I've got my little looper on to have the engine switch in the run position. I put the coil in where it originally went. I've put the rectifier in where it originally went on the original setup for the bike. The spark plug wire, I clipped the end just to make sure it was looking a little old. So I clipped that, re-screwed it on. That's fine. As you can see, my muffler is done and nice and solid on. The bracket worked out great. I'm really happy with that, how that turned out. So I'd love to try this with gas. God, I wish I had some fuel lines. I'm just gonna take off the tank. Hey. Ha ha. Oh, that's a thing of beauty.
One eternity later.
Very cool. So what you just saw was sort of the continuation. I got some fuel line plumbed up just enough so I could pour a little bit into the carbs and get it to kick over. I've got the pod filter on it, so obviously it's getting too much air, and this particular carb has the air adjust as opposed to the fuel adjust to get things copacetic. And I think I'm gonna have to get a larger jet going. It seems when I pull, it's like I'm barely backing out the air screw at all to try and find that sort of idle, but it's not lovely, and there's a couple little pops and this and that. But it is running, so that is a plus. A few things that I will update you on with the bike itself is I actually moved the tank in the seat again. So if you want to take a look over here, you'll notice I've added a plate. So my tank, there used to be maybe a 1/4 inch from the tank to the bearing housing for the triple tree. That is actually much more substantial space. I relaxed it back, and I actually, if you look at my seat, I reversed the mount on the thing and I pulled the seat way back. Overall, it just gives a really nice stretched out feel when you're sitting on it. But this is the same hole I cut, except this bracket used to be underneath the seat. So I've literally come back about 3 inches. I reused some of the mounts that held the original rack on the original design of the bike and just built a couple of small brackets, and the seat's on solid. But now it's much more further out over the back, which I'm okay with. It's a little higher, but you know what? Comfort-wise, way better. And the tank is actually mounted now, which is good for peace of mind. Just at the front on the brackets there. One sort of thing I did figure out as I've been lining things up, going back to the rear bumper when it got dropped, my initial thought was that it did all its damage back here in this part when it fell and pushed things in. And what I've sort of come to discover is probably from here to here, this whole section is bent over a little bit. I don't think it'll ever be perfect, but I have to get it pushed that way some more, because right now it's coming far too close to the tire when the tire is centered. The good news is it hasn't gone to paint. If I had gotten it painted or powder coated, that would suck a lot more. Speaking of which, that's basically my next step. Like I said before, everything orange is going to go black. I may leave the tank. The raw metal has been growing on me. There's been a couple of times where I just thought, I'll throw some primer on there. But I don't know. The whole thing might go black. The tank might stay that, and then just get a couple of nice stripes down the center. But I think that's as much as I'm going to film on this until I get it back from paint. And I actually forgot something. I did actually have a little bit of a identity crisis. Going back to talking about the seat and the tank getting moved around, the reason I ended up doing that was I was sort of sitting and staring at it one night, thinking about the space and the fit and everything, and I actually, not a moment of panic, but a moment of just, is that the right thing for the right part? Is that the right part for the right style or whatever? So I actually went out and I ordered this. Just this sort of the most standard little cafe racer seat I could get. The way it meets the tank, the way it hangs over the end, there would have to be a lot more slicing and dicing on the back half to get this to settle in, and the tank is wrong anyway for it. So I figured I'd just order it just to make sure that I had the right go. And as soon as I put this back, I was totally happy with how that ended up. At the time, I wasn't really worried about wasting an order of a seat, because I always kind of thought, you know what, something will come up in the future that I'll be able to use this on. And I don't know, is it because you put the idea in your mind that you'll have something else to do it on, or is it the universe just trying to put things right? But maybe after 4 days that I decided I wasn't going to use this on this bike and I would shelve it and wait for a project that could use it, something fell into my lap. It's a Honda, it's a 400cc, it's basically a bike in a box. The good parts on it are extremely good. The not so good parts on it are highly questionable. That's coming up very soon because I'm cranked to get started on it, and I'm going to do some cool custom stuff on it. But this will be the seat. The seat that I bought before I bought the bike. Something else I've got and I've got to get it out of the garage quickly. So when I was originally looking for parts for this, I came across a barn find CT90. Very original, has not run in a long time. And I'll probably do a video just seeing if I can get that one going. So I'm just going to get it running and probably just flip it on and try and get my money back. So I'll probably just do one video on just getting it running and getting it back to snuff. The other one, stay tuned, because it'll come soon. I'm kind of chomping at the bit to get at it, because hopefully it'll be cool. There's going to be some frame cutting and stuff. Yeah, so please subscribe if you want to stay up to date on what's going on. Hopefully the next time this guy comes out, it'll be one color. Cheers.